All right, welcome back. We're here with Ferdinand Town Manager Chris James this week. Welcome back, Chris.
Thanks for having me, Bradford. Appreciate it.
So, Folk Fest, we're wrapping up. We got 6 more weeks to go, but you guys had the big fundraiser with the Nick Dittmer Band recently.
That went very well over at the Gaslight in Huntingburg. Had a real good turnout. Raised a little bit more money to go into the Folk Fest kitty. And as it turned out, it was the same night as our Ferdinand Fireman's Ball, so we took a portion of that proceeds and made a donation to the firemen as well because of what they do, and so folks didn't think we tried to schedule that event in place of the Fireman's Ball. There was some duplication that went on that night. Folks got their meal at the Fireman's Fest and then moved over to the Gaslight for the Dittmer Band after that. So very good turnout, and we still have another fundraiser coming up later this month, the Eddie Rashi Band, and that'll be the last one at least that is scheduled now before September 20 hits when the Folk Fest descends upon Ferdinand.
So you guys are in pretty good shape then with funding, it sounds like.
The machine is rolling well. By this point in time, it's in process. Just get out of the way or you're going to get swallowed up by it. But we are working on a more formal organization of the Folk Fest once we get through this year's event, have it take on a more organizational feel in years ahead to provide a more sustainable long-term future for it. And we feel very good about that. Once we get past this one, take a little bit of a breather and then start the process of really getting everything flowing well for future Folk Fests and make it a long-term commitment to the area.
And not to be lost in all this, it's part of your guys' big 2015 175th celebration too.
That is rolling along as well also. We've started some of the initial meetings once we got through this year's Heimat Fest, which was sort of a preparation, if you will, for the 175, set up the committees a little bit differently, some new leadership and new people involved, learned what worked, what didn't work, what can we make better, what can we add, and then we look to have a huge celebration in 2015 for the 175th. We had a float in the Strassenfest parade this past weekend, and that'll be unveiled at other upcoming parades. I think St. Anthony's event is next up. So for folks that attend the parades, look for the big 175th float for, I guess, a preemptive strike on promoting Ferdinand's big birthday next year.
Absolutely. And speaking of big events in Ferdinand, you guys got your paving projects, got to make things look good for all this.
Well, that's right. You have to have nice roads for folks to come into town so that they don't come in and say, well, it's a great fest, but the roads were lousy. We don't want to come here. We try to keep things as smooth and neat and orderly as possible. The milling work started late last week. We've got, I think, 6 or 7 different projects. Nothing major, big chunks of street other than Northwood Drive, about a 3-block stretch of that. But the crews, most of the milling work has been accomplished, and the paving, at least initial coats, in several places have been put down, and that will continue the rest of this week, probably the next couple of weeks, to get all of that fine-tuned, get the worst of everything cleared up. And the budgeting came in as such. The bids were low enough. We were able to accomplish a couple of side projects up at the fire station between 3rd and 4th Street to help fix up their parking lot a little bit. So putting all of our street department dollars to the best use possible, and things have been going very well. And if the weather holds out, we'll get done with the paving sooner rather than later as well.
That's always a good deal.
Yes, it is.
So Chris, thank you again for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me, Bradford.
That's been Monday with the Town Manager this week. We'll be back after this.